Good morning, everybody. So we're going to jump right into this. Just going to go through this one really quickly since I have it on my screen. Now, this is not one I usually look at, but this is setting up, and it's setting up pretty nicely. So we don't really have any volume on it. The volume's like falling off a cliff, but everything's falling off a cliff right now, volume-wise, because of the holiday weekend. But look at this. This is setting up really almost perfectly. You can see the level right here. See how you're getting above that level? And you tried once yesterday, you might try again today, and this time it might go. But I would watch this. This is really interesting pattern. You have a flag and another small flag is breaking out of it. So I kind of like trades like that. So good morning, Nicholas. Good morning, Andrew. Hey, Mohammed. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Could I look at RH? Yep, let's go. Let's get into it. So RH after its fall, the first thing that I would say is I don't really view that as a massive fall. So let's get into it and let's just see what's really going on, right? I mean, I don't really view that as anything that is, let's get rid of all these indicators for a moment and let's just look at this, right? And see what's going on. So I don't really view this as a major breakdown. So this is your long red bar, right? That you opened, came down, and you still couldn't take out that low. So there's an argument to be made that there's something going on right here where you have some kind of buyer, right? I mean, you can see how you're holding that level. Let me pull this all the way over so you can see that level. So you have some kind of buyer here. And it just happens to fall in line exactly with where you are on here and here, right? See how they're holding? So, and then it flips, right? So I like the fact that it's holding here. This is actually setting up for a possible move higher. So you have, I really don't like the raise. Hold on. So you have a wedge there, but you also have this one. Like, you see how you're respecting that the whole time? Right? Hold on one second. There we go. Perfect. So see how you're respecting that? So I would be very interested to see if it bounces here, holds here, and then breaks through the first level. Because if you break through this, you're going to retest this. And that's what you're looking for there. But I mean, I don't see anything that is broken. I just see a light volume day and people taking advantage of it. I mean, look at your volume. No one's paying attention to this. So if no one's paying attention to it and they can knock it down, that's what they're going to do. So, I mean, that's pretty much how it works. So let's just keep going. Good morning. Would you check Facebook? Yep, let's look at Facebook. So with Facebook, right, you had this 358 level and you just couldn't get above it. I thought we were going to get another push. I actually had an option trade on 2 days ago. I thought we were going to push for another day and possibly retest this level. That's not what happened. So I just got out that morning. And you know, and you can see that that 10 level that's an issue. This 358.14 is your issue. So you're going to have to watch that level right now. I would hope that you don't break the 8-day if you're trying to stay in this. If you do, you know, last time you broke, if you look at this, usually when you break the 8-day, you're testing this, you're testing your 50. That's usually what happens with it. So, or it comes down way, way lower, right? It usually will at a minimum, if it breaks that 8, we can get rid of this line. And really what you're going to do is, at a minimum, if you break that 8, is possibly come back and test this line, which is going to take you to at least 336. So I'd be really careful there. It's not something I'd be rushing right into. So let's just keep going. Crowd, you know, crowd I like, and I know a lot of people, you know, they don't just go straight up, is what I try to tell people. But look, you're sitting right on this key level. Let's pull this down here and let's open this up. You're sitting right on this level. So I like crowd. I mean, could it break? Sure. Of course it could. So, I mean, you know, the one thing about the market, anything can happen. Just remember that anything can happen. So you have to honor your process. But me holding, like, here's that peak and here's where I closed at. I mean, obviously 251.28 is a level. it's obviously something's going on up there that has people paying attention to it. Now you have this huge monthly, right, trend line up here, but that gets me to 278 before I even have to concern myself with that right now. And so I'm not even there. But overall, yeah, I really like this trade, and I don't see any reason for me to, not be in this. So I obviously you could get stopped out. You can get stopped out in anything, but I do like the trade as a whole. So let's just see Airbnb, and let's do Airbnb. Hey, Kobe. All right. So Airbnb, I get it. Here's the most interesting thing about this trade that makes me think that you have a shot at getting up to here, right? I think you have a shot at getting to 164, and I'll walk you through why. See these two bars yesterday? See how you have this long red one that opens at the high, closes at the low? See how you under gap? This is really kind of important. You see how you under gap this bar, which makes everyone think that we're going to go lower, and then you go lower. Everybody thinks that they're right. And then we go back through the open. And then what happens? We completely encapsulate that bar. What happens after that? We take out another level. So that to me is about as solid of a bullish engulfing pattern as you could possibly get. Now, if you overlay your indicators with it, what's interesting is as other stocks are just falling out of volume, this volume on this is going up. So what you could see here, right, is now we're going to get above the 50-day. Well, when was the last time we were above the 50-day? And if you go through this stock, I don't believe we were up since this was, I think you had 12 days when you were up above it. So if you get above this 50-day, you're going to start seeing some movement. Now, I'm just going to overlay this really quickly because I like this trade. And what I want to do is get rid of all these moving averages so we can just focus for a moment on what I want to go over. So do you see how you're at this point of control right here? You see how you're flipping that, right? You haven't flipped that since you broke it back here. You're flipping it today, right? And I'll show you pre-market in a moment. But here's also what's very important to understand about this trade. Okay, see how you have this gap right in here? Look at the volume. You have a volume vacuum right in here. Well, that means that you could just easily run up to here. Frankly, if you're just going to look at the volume, you could get up to 173. So this has a lot of potential to keep moving. And I could see why somebody would trade that. Now, if you look at this trade, you're already setting up to run. So what I would just look for is that you don't close below this 150. You don't really want to close below the point of control, really, the 151 level. But I like that trade a lot, and it was definitely worth spending time on. If I miss you, just please throw it back out there again. So VERB. So VERB, I mean, this is not something that I would be rushing into at all. It's very small. You could see what they did. They opened it, right, ran it up on you, and then just basically closed at the low. If I throw this in on the daily just to go through it, this is not something I'd want to be anywhere near. So, you're under the shelf, and this is your VWAP. I don't like the trade. I mean, if I was in this, I'd be looking to get out, frankly. It's not something I would stay in. So let's check a look at MJ. So, I mean, you're just rolling. You're constantly rolling, right? So let's just open this up on MJ and get into it. So you're just constantly coming down, trying to break out a high, can't, trying to stay above this, can't. So I would avoid this. I know everyone's all very excited about, pot being legalized federally. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I don't see the sense in getting all, excited about it. I mean, it's still very early on, and there's so many players already in. So I wouldn't be there. It's not something that I would concern myself with. TXN, I think there's better plays. TXN is just setting up to grind. I mean, you're above this, all this volume in here. Here's your level. And it's just setting up to grind. I mean, like this, that's exactly what it's going to do. This will just continually move up with the stocks. I really don't need to throw in any more indicators. It'll just continue to go up. It's just not a fast mover, right? I mean, We've gone from 180 to 190. If you look back here, you've gone from 170 to 190. You know, if you're looking at high beta names, NVIDIA is basically up 4 times that. But if you're looking for like a low beta name that you don't have to really worry about, these are perfect. Stocks like Texas Instruments are perfect because they're just going to grind higher as long as the stocks goes higher. So I like them. SWBI. So let's say I'm not very good. I need a better process. Well, let's just go through SWBI. I can't give you a better process, but I can give you ideas how to get a better process. How about that? So here's the thing that's fascinating to me about this. Yesterday, everybody's like, that's it. It's got to be done. It just keeps going. And then you come in again today and we're up another $1. I mean, the easiest way for you to stay in this is for you to just keep walking up your stop, right? You have to keep trailing your stop. So to me, that's very simple, right? For me looking at this, if I was in this from $28, the first close, and I would probably hang in there and see it close because I'd have so much profit. The first close below the 5 or the 8 day, I'd be gone. So that's up to you. And I don't know if you pulled any out yet or not, but they're the levels that I would use, that if I close below these, I would be out. And it's certainly if I close below 3163, I would be out because then I would close below the breakout bar, which sets me up for all this. You have nothing but air up here. So when this ends, and it will end, they always end, right? We just don't know when. When this ends, this is not going to be a just sideways trade. This is going to be nasty. This is going to end with a long, nasty red bar and a lot of pain. So you just have to have a plan in place. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to base and then go back up. It just means that you have to be willing to either go here or start using that 5-day. That's what I would recommend. So CPE, you know, it's really interesting because some of these energy names just consistently are running. So, you know, that's something that you need to consider. I just don't understand how they keep. I don't understand how they just keep going up. I mean, it just does, but I'm not sure why this one goes up and doesn't really seem to care what energy does, right? Like it only cared what energy did this day. Every other day, it just does not care. And I keep avoiding it because I think energy is going to come in, but this is setting up to go higher again. So, you know, there's not much more to say about it. I mean, that the price is telling you what's going to happen, right? I mean, that's definitely what's telling you what's going on. There's not really much to say about it. I mean, it just looks great. So let's see, Matt, what do we have here? Got a bunch of them. CPNG, I did yesterday, Francis. I'm just going to run into it real quick. So CPNG, I mean, look, you tried to break out again. You couldn't, and you came right to this level. So I would sit there and watch this. I would not be in a big hurry here. It's failed here. You have another wick. You know, you have to hold this level or you're gonna wind up breaking down. It's not great. TTD, thank you. I knew there was one I wanted to go over. So I'm in this trade, just caveat. So I don't really have a problem with the action yesterday. Do I want them to go up every day? Yes. Is that realistic? No. So what I'm looking for here is I come down and I base, and I'm still above this level. I mean, nothing's really changed. If anything, I'm setting up to go up tomorrow or Monday. So I'm not really concerned about it. I'm just trading in here and just basing. So I don't really see a sense in doing anything with this. If I got below this level, that would be concerning to me, and maybe I'd get out. But I don't know that I have to worry about that. I don't really know that that's a major concern of mine right now. You know, I'm not crazy. I'm below the 5-day, but I really don't care. You know, I'm trying to be in this for a long term. I'm trying to be in this for a multi-month move. So I have to understand it's not going to go up every single day that I'm in it. Happy Canada Day, Tracy. Can we look at GHVI and OIH? Yes. GHVI. Okay. So 1451 is your base. Look how you're respecting it. Look at this little wedge that you broke. I like it. I like that little wedge. Let's look at your volume. So yeah, I mean, look, you have a huge volume spike there, right? I mean, I get this. Here's your level. You could see how you stopped right at it. See how you stopped right at that volume right up here? As soon as you got into it, right? That was it. And that's your VWAP on your volume by price. So you have some levels here you should be concerned about. The 1678 level would be the first level that I would be concerned about, and then 1786. So I'd watch those two levels on GHVI. OIH. 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 I mean, the argument can be made that you're forming a wedge. I mean, I find, I'm going to be honest, I find the movement in energy absolutely baffling, because usually energy either goes up or down. We don't base and then just keep going like this. Like it's usually a very technical move. But look at this, right? So like you held the point of control, and now you're forming this base. So, I mean, look, this is a really simple trade if I wanted to be in it. Breaking above 230 on average daily volume would be your trigger on it. And you would expect it to go to the top of the wedge, which gets you to 248. So that's that trade. Let's just keep going here. Yeah, of course, Francis. LEN and Chewy. Chewy looks done to me, just to throw that out there really quickly. LEN, Lenair, you know, the home builders have done great this year, but you know, here's your level, and you're having an issue with it, and you're having an issue with that century mark for whatever reason. You're having an issue there. Sometimes that happens. So I don't see a reason to jump in this. I would sit, watch, and wait before I do anything. I don't like how it's just sitting there. That would be concerning to me. Chewy, let's do Chewy. So here's what I don't like. And we had a little trade on this, and you should be out of that trade if you follow along in the community. But here, look, see this level? I'm not crazy about this. You need to hold point of control, but to me, it looks like you're breaking. Now you had a very small evening star pattern here, and then break this. So let's just see what happens with it. But I'm not crazy about this at all. This is not something I'd be rushing into here. I'd watch how we react to this level and how we react to point of control before entering, if you're still in that. Virgin Galactic, you know, I like. And let's just keep going here. Hold on. Let's just do Virgin Galactic. I know this is a big one people are looking at. I like this idea. I think you sold down, right, on this, and now you have the opportunity to break out and go higher. But maybe it consolidates for a little bit. But I like the idea. I think that it could work. SQ. Yep, let's do SQ, Miguel. So you're just riding the top of that trend line. I mean, that's all you're doing. See this trend line right here? You're in this range, and you could easily trade back down to some of these levels. Once you get up here, this is usually where we reject. And it's been rejecting up here for some time. So if you look across this level here, let's get rid of all this real quick, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about so you can see it. Sometimes you have too many lines in a chart. You see how you stopped here again? See how it was an issue here, and as soon as you broke it, what happened? We came back down. We hit it here, came back down, hit it here, down, here. So it's a level for whatever reason. Somebody's up there at 252, that 252 level, and they're just hammering it. So you're really in a trading range here. I mean, you're really in this range between, you know, you can say this level where you just went to and down here, you know, the 200 range. So, you know, maybe it just stays here in basis for a while. I'm not really sure, but this definitely is not, it's not breaking out. That's for sure. So UPST, let's see, and let's look at PAC real quick, and then I'll do UPST. Again, if I don't answer your stock, it just means that the queue is going too fast and I didn't see it, because I don't stare at the queue while I do charts. I try to focus on the charts. So 25.45 bounce, tries to get through it, can get through the other one, right? So that's really what we're trying to do. Okay, I don't really want this update. So we're trying to figure out what's going to happen here, but I need to get through that level. So let's just keep going. Zebra, UPST. UPST was the one I said that we would do. So let's get into this. I think this is very interesting, and I'll show you why. See this wedge right here? Look at this. Look at where you're opening today. So you're trying to open above that close, which leads you to believe that there's probably buying out there. And where you're trying to open, look, is above all that level. So I really like that. I like this idea. I also like the fact that they've been walking us up. So eventually, if you're walking me up, right, by walking me up the lower lows, like the higher low, higher low, higher low, and I keep banging on this door, right? If they keep doing that, you're going to get through eventually. It's just a question of when. But you have to wait for it. You have to wait for the first sign because you're in a bear flag. I mean, no matter how you light this thing, no matter how you want to light this candle, you can look at this. There's your flagpole. Here's your flag. You need to at least reject and get out of the flag before you can even challenge up here, right? I mean, and people understand you have to get through 135 before you get to 147, but that's a key level on it, and we should be having issue with it. But I do think we're eventually going to get through it. What trading platform do you recommend? Some stocks aren't showing on the platform I use. I don't know who you're using. I tell everybody that's starting out to start very basic and to use either E-Trade or Thinkorswim. Use somebody that actually has capital. And, I tell people strongly to stay away from Robinhood. So they just got fined the single largest fine ever by FINRA. So, just avoid them. I'm surprised they're still, operating the way that they're operating, frankly. So let's just go here and take a look. So you can see here, you have the 50-day, the 20, the 21, the 8, and they're pointing up. ZBRA, I don't see a problem with it. I like the trade. I think you're down a little bit today, right? Yeah, you're basically even. I mean, look, it's a very thin stock, but I do think it can go higher. I mean, it doesn't trade a lot, and it's a very high-priced stock. So could it come up and come back down? Absolutely. So that's why we have stops. But I like the software space still. So P-Ton completely rejected. What would you recommend after E-Trade and TOS? I use several different systems. What was I looking at here while I talk about this? Let's do GRWG. I keep seeing that one pop up and I keep forgetting to do it. So out of all the pot names that that people talk about, there's really only one that is constantly above. It's 8, 21, 50, 200. And there's only one that seems to have the strongest relative strength. I'm not sure why. I'm just going to leave this up here because I don't want to click it and then realize I got to reboot the system, and then we're done for the day. But so you see this level, like we just keep trying, right? Once we get through this, you're getting to this 57 fairly quickly. I like this. Out of all the names that are out there that are in the pot space, this is my favorite name. So I like this trade a lot. P-Ton rejected pretty clearly. So, this 124.80, you have to get through that. Like, I don't know why you reject here. Like that, I find that fascinating, right? So maybe we're not rejecting, maybe we're basing, and maybe we're forming another inside day on this inside day. So you have an inside day with an inside day. Maybe you're going to get above it today, right? And so what you would be see how this bar is inside this one, and then this one's inside that one. That can usually lead to some contraction that then can lead to expansion, right? So what you'd be looking for is to get above the 125 and let's see here, 125 3/4, and then push. That's what you're looking for, because I don't have any volume in here. Like there's nothing here. So I find that it stopped here very interesting. And look at the volume. Like people just walked away from this market. They just walked away and went to the Hamptons. So Baba, you keep asking Yoshi and I keep missing it. I apologize. Let's do it. Plug I like. I just saw that one. Looks like a beast. I think we got stopped out. No, we're still in this. So where'd we close here? Where'd we close? No, still in this one. Wow. So It's really interesting. I mean, it's just so fascinating to me how we just have never even came back to this level. So this 8 is being respected, right? And I think that's what you would be looking at. If I close below the 8-day now, I'd be concerned. A close below the 8-day would get me out of the stock. Other than that, there's really no reason to move. It's interesting, but this can go a lot higher. I actually think that this can get back up to this 56 level, but there's a little wick right here you have to watch. Hold on. Just have to get up through that. There's actually one a little lower, but once you get through that, like look at the volume over here. There's nothing there, man. Like there's just nothing there. You just go, this could just keep going. So I really like that one. So you're welcome, Yoshi. And let's do Baba and then Matt, I got you. So Baba, I'm not a fan. I don't know how many times I could tell people that I'm just not a fan, but if people have questions about what trading platform to use, please just reach out via email or in the community or Twitter or Reddit, because I don't want to get into it in too much detail on here because everybody's very specific on what they're looking for. So see how you break out and you have this flag, but you're just right around point of control. You have all these levels in here. You didn't have any follow through on the breakout, which leads me to believe that we're just going to hit this and pull one of these, right? See how, like, let's get rid of all this so you can see what I'm talking about. It just feels like I'm going to pull one of these, right? I mean, that's how it feels to me. So the only reason that you could not feel that way is because you finally have gotten above a level, but you got above a level here too, didn't you? Right? I mean, it's almost like if you look at this pattern here versus this pattern, it's almost like looking in the mirror. So I'm not in a big hurry to buy this name. I think it's very manipulated to be blunt. And it's not something that I usually play with. Matt MP, MANH, MP. Thanks for hanging in there. So MP, I get it. I see what you're looking at. I like it. You're above your point of control. Look, you're above your entire volume shelf right here and heading into this. So I like this a lot. I could see why you're looking at this. The 8, the 21, everything's pointing up. Where's my volume? So that alone would get me not to buy this. And the only reason I say that is because when you don't have volume, you have more chance of a failed breakout. And I think that's what you're setting up for here. So that's why. And let's do MANH. And then I'm going to have to go here. I'm going to do Roku real quick. You're just hitting this 146 and you can't break through it. I'm going to do Roku and then I have to go here because market's about to open in 14 minutes. I was looking at this a lot last night and I just want to go through this so people can understand it a little bit better. This is your monthly, right? So here's your monthly chart. I mean, it's just perfect. And now you're at an all-time high monthly close. You've never closed this high before. So to me, this is setting up to push out. And now the question becomes, where can it go to? And that's what I was trying to figure out. And to me, I think that you can get up through this and this can keep going. So I'm waiting for it to clear here to make sure that I'm right. But I really like this trade. So, and I think that you have an easy, if it gets through this, there's another easy 100 points here. There's another 25% in it. So thanks, Dan. All right. I'm out of here. I got to get going. Everyone have a great day. And if I don't talk to you, have a great 4th and happy